Hi guys, my name is Brady Bessette. Welcome back to another episode of The Classroom. So this video you're watching here is actually part 2 to the video that I put out on Thursday on practical light, motivated lighting, what they are. So if you have not yet watched that or you aren't familiar with those terms, go ahead and watch that and check back here afterwards and stick around till the end of this video for the giveaway winner to be announced for the Comica Mic giveaway that I did a couple weeks back. So there are 2 different ways that we're going to tackle this scene today. And the first way we're going to light it requires no additional lighting whatsoever. That's right, we're using strictly just practical lights that we have on hand in the house. So if you don't have lights or have any budget for lights, don't worry, follow along. This is going to shine light on all of your lightless shots. So the first practical light that we're attacking today is most likely our most important light that we're attacking today. And that's going to be the light that's immediately next to your subject. In this case, this side table lamp. And this is going to act as your key light. And make sure to place your subject in a way that isn't too far from our key light, our light source here, or our practical, because oftentimes practicals don't put out a lot of bright, strong output. So we wouldn't want to place our subject far away from it, so by the time that the light travels all that way, it falls off to dark and it's not actually illuminating the side of Sarah's face. And we know from previous videos like the natural light tutorial or the lighting faces tutorial that we want a far side key. So we're going to place the lamp on the far side, that back side of Sarah relative to the camera, but place the practical in a way that's still going to wrap some light around from the highlight into that shadow side of the face, but not enough so it's just completely washing out the face and making it flat. We still want to keep some of that shadow side. And if you've got a lot of ambient light bouncing around the house, feel free to take some negative fill, scooch that really close to the shadow side of her face and get that contrast, get that highlight to shadow roll off across her face, making a lot of depth and texture and character to her face. And we got to keep in mind here that we are exposing for your subject's face, your subject's body, because they are the center of attention, so they should be exposed the most correctly. And I know at this point the lights and the practicals are probably a lot hotter, a lot brighter, and we're going to tackle a solution for that later in this video. But now that we have a lot of great lighting, a lot of contrast, depth on Sarah's face, let's add depth to the rest of this scene. And we're going to do that using another practical. So I placed Sarah on the couch in a way that the light was on one side of the frame and you could see the light lighting her, and then over her other shoulder you can see in the background that practical light, that chandelier, is sitting right over there in the back of the house. So now instead of it just being Sarah and the light in the scene, now the whole scene has grown even more. It keeps the eyes wandering to and through the frame into the background. You see that it's not only her and the lamp, now it's the kitchen, the rest of the house. There's more going on, there's more depth. And like I've said plenty of times before, depth is so important to get a cinematic image. So with only using just practical lights, this scene looks pretty darn impressive. Sarah's face has dimension, the scene has depth, everything looks really good for using just what we had on hand. But say you want to take this shot to the next level, you got some lights sitting around, you want to make it look really nice. How would we do this? So like we talked about before, this is our motivated lighting. We've made the scene how we want it with the practicals, they're all in place, we've got the look that we want, but the practicals motivate the need for more lighting just to polish off the shot and make it look really nice. Okay, so let's backtrack a couple steps to the practical lights being overexposed. One obstacle that we run into when using practical lights as our key lights is that you need to get proper exposure on the subject's face, and to do that you really have to boost the exposure so that lamp is casting enough to brighten up the face, but at that point your practical lights are going to be extremely hot, extremely blown out, clipping at the top and really bright. And naturally, when we look at a frame, when we look at a shot, our eyes go to the brightest spot in the frame. So in this case, the lights are going to be the brightest spot, not the face, and we've got to change that. Okay, so with additional lighting, the first rule to adding in additional lighting and motivated lighting is to expose the camera for what you cannot control. Something that is fixed lighting, fixed exposure. So in this case, we've got the light next to Sarah that we can't control the brightness of it. So we dial down the exposure quite a bit to when that light is not blown out and exposed pretty correctly. And you see how everything else in the frame gets completely dark. So now that everything is really dark, now is where we really get to see the wonders that motivated lighting and artificial lighting really do to your frame. And remember, we never want artificial lighting to look like it's artificial lighting. We don't want it to look sourcey, we want it to look natural, like it's actually coming from this lamp or fireplace or candle or whatever you're using for your practical. It has to look natural. So to do this, first I wanted to match the color temperature of the lights that I was using. So in this case, I'm using my Forza 200, my Nanlite Forza 200, and I absolutely love that thing. So I took a CTO gel, clipped it right to the front of that. And then to soften it, because I don't want harsh light, it wouldn't be natural if it was harsh light, I punched it through that diffusion that we made a few videos back as well. So now we've got a warm, soft light immediately on our face, and it's already looking pretty darn good. And to make sure that we were getting the softest and smoothest roll off from the highlights to the shadows, I moved the diffusion all the way in right to the frame line, and then I pulled it back. Because the closer that your diffusion is, the softer it is. It's a wider source, it's a wider spread, so you always want your diffusion to be really, really close. In this case, mine is right here. I can reach out and touch it super easy. You want it close to your subject to have a soft, smooth roll off and look really, really clean and natural. And if your light is spilling around the room, like around the diffusion, and you've got spots that just don't look natural or where light shouldn't be shining, feel free to take a flag, anything black, just cover up part of the light so it doesn't spill in places you don't want it to. Anywhere that a lamp wouldn't or your practical wouldn't. Remember, you want to make sure that it makes sense. And again, if you're going for more contrast from the highlights across, utilize your negative fill. Bring that in as close as you can, find the frame line, then step back, find a nice contrast ratio that really looks good for the style of shot that you're going for. But now remember the lights over her shoulder in the back. As we bring down the exposure, it looks really nice, right? Like the lights aren't completely blown out, it's a lot more subtle, but something just looks kind of weird, doesn't it? With the darkness in the room. Naturally, those lights would be casting an ambient light throughout the house, but now since we dropped the exposure, everything is really dark, and then it's just Sarah, the practical light, and the other practical light, and that's it. So that motivates some more lighting. You want to bring up the ambience of that room, and here's how we're going to do it. I took 2 more lights. Both of them were Nanlight's Pavo tubes, the 6Cs, and I use these because they're super easy, super versatile. They've got magnets in it. So the first one in the background, I stuck straight to the ceiling because there's the metal in the ceiling, and it just hung there, and I matched the color temperature to the temperature of the practical over the shoulder and just brought up the ambient light in that little corner that we've got in the background. So that looks a lot more natural, and I did the same thing for right behind Sarah on the door. I took 1 more of the Pavo tubes, same thing, same settings, and I blasted that softly just right on the background behind her, so it looked like on the back side of our practical light that's next to her, it fills in the blinds and the door and the wall. So now the ambience of the room is super even, everything looks really, really natural and crisp, and it honestly just looks like the practicals are lighting the entire room. But we know, you and I, that that's definitely not the case. And that's really it. A few additional lights bring the scene from pretty nice to spectacular really, really quick and really, really easy. And for all the gear geeks out there like myself, I shot this all on my Blackmagic Pocket 4K with my vintage Super Takumar 50mm, my 1960s lens, and a Tiffin Pro Mist 1.8 on that to get the look that I wanted, and my white balance was right around 3350. So those are my settings. That's the camera setup I was working with. But there we go. Now we know how to light a scene with just practical lights and make it look really, really good. Or we can also utilize our practical lights to motivate more lighting and polish everything off to make it look almost like a Hollywood film, you know? That's the look we're all going for. So I hope that you found this helpful and enjoyable. I'm super excited with the outcome. I kind of impressed myself a little bit with how nice that it looked. But now is the time that we have all been waiting for, and that is announcing the giveaway winner for our mic giveaway video that I did a few weeks back. And first of all, I want to say thank you. I was blown away by the immense amount of comments and enrollments to this. I thought I would get like 10, I don't know. So I don't even know what it's at right now, 500, 600, something like that. So thank you all so much. And if you are not the winner, don't worry, this is not the only giveaway that I'm doing. I've got something really fun planned for maybe 50,000. I don't know. I'll keep it a secret for now. You'll find out at some point soon. But I know the suspense is crazy, so I'm going to cut away right now because this is pre-recorded, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, so all we do is put this link in here from the video where we all enrolled into this random comment picker, fill out all that stuff as we do, get all the YouTube comments, and that filters through everything there. 577, holy cow. Thank you all so much. And all you got to do is come over here, hit the start button, and let's see who is going to win this mic. Who's it going to be? Desi Miah. So Desi, if this is you, I apologize if I pronounced that wrong, but if this is you, leave a comment on the video or reach out to me on Instagram, and we will get you this mic to you as soon as we can. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you on the other side. And once more, congratulations to the winner. Like I said before, I don't know who you are yet, but congratulations. Again, reach out to me either on Instagram DMs if you've got that, or leave a comment in YouTube on this video here, and we'll get in contact and we'll get you this Comica Mic out there as soon as we can. But again, once more, thank you all for enrolling, and thank you all for watching another video. If you found this helpful, if you found this enjoyable, something like that, go ahead and leave a comment down below, share it with a friend, subscribe, do whatever you gotta do. And until next time, this class is very much so dismissed. Have a good November, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.